Back to the construction of my bag. I'm holding it with one hand, so what I did here is I'm going to add a ruffle to the bag, and you make your ruffle, okay, and then you have to carefully connect the ruffle to the inside. You're making a sandwich with the ruffle, okay, but it has to be done. I'm only up to here, so I'm going through it very slowly, and I'm taking the ruffle and I'm moving it up with the pins, because I only have pins here holding it just stationary right now. And then once I line everything up, then I put another pin. And I don't care if I put a million pins in, because I got to do it, good. It has to be done, you have to catch it, because when you open it up, the ruffle is going to be, oh wait, I'll show it to you. Where's my bag? The ruffle will be like this. Okay? But you got to catch it, and it's got to be even. And then you got to do the inside. Make sure you close this. I should have sewed this piece. Maybe I can do it now. But in order, when you're sewing it, from inside out, you got to make sure you have the ruffle. Because one time I sewed it and I had some of the ruffle and then I missed it. Then I had a ruffle again. Then I missed it. So, take your time with this. Okay? All right. I was just showing you the video before this. I had made a ruffle. And I was showing you how I did the ruffle. I was not happy with it. So what I did was I took it out. Took the stitches out. And I'm going to redo the ruffle. It did not come out good. And when I did it, I kind of did it quickly. So it didn't actually grab all that I needed to grab with the ruffling foot. So there's another way that I do ruffling. And it's with dental floss. And I'll show you when I do it and then how I do it. Okay? What I did was I showed you a video prior to this that I took. I was putting the, my God, I can't think, the ruffles. I was doing the ruffles, and I did not like the way it was sandwiching through, the purse. So I took it out, and there's another way of doing gathering, and you take a piece of floss, dental floss. I shut the light off because I think you can see it better, hopefully. Right, that's the thread. Here's the dental floss right there. Okay, and what you do is you do a zigzag stitch. And you zigzag all along. And then you leave enough room so that you can pull this. And you can create your own ruffle. And it's even. And it's a easier way than to do it, I think, with my ruffle foot. I didn't like the way the ruffle foot was coming. It was missing stitches, and it was doing every 3 ruffles, and then it would just gather the material. This is a better way, and it comes out much more neater. And it's also, if you see, the both fabrics are even. So this way, when I do the sandwich and I put this in the middle of the purse, it's going to be easier for me to sew. Okay? Because I had showed you my last video that I had the ruffle, but I didn't like the way the ruffle looked. The ruffle looked uneven, and with my ruffling foot, it was missing a lot of stitches. So what I did was I took the ruffle, I took all the stitches out, and now I redid it. And what, if you could see closely, see if I could focus in on it. So it's a zigzag stitch, and I ran a piece of dental floss. This is dental floss. So you run a piece of dental floss, and you do a zigzag over, 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 all along a straight piece of folded material. And you leave enough room at the end. Then you completely sew this whole piece. And then you leave another piece here. You can see it better here. Okay? So the dental floss is in the middle of the zigzags. And then what you do is you pull the dental floss. I can't do it right now because I have my phone. And you gather it. And this way, you can control the gathering. So now I have a bigger ruffle that's going to go on the bag. So you see how it's going to go. Now what I'm doing is I'm just attaching the end of the ruffle to the end of the front side of the bag. Then once that's in place, and I'm going to pin it. I'm going to pin it every couple of inches. Also, what I did is I measure it. I measure it to make sure that it's the right side from here to here. I use my ruler. Sorry, guys. I use my ruler, and I'm lucky with this particular fabric because it's got dots, and the dots are in the rows. So, and then I mark it and make sure that it's even with my ruler, my mat. Okay, so that line continues all the way through here. And then what I do is I take, once that's all pinned correctly, and I have pins every couple of, I don't care, like I said before, I don't care if I put 100 pins in there. It's got to be perfect. You've got to have this edge. Got to have the edge of the ruffle right to the edge of the material. So when you sew it, you're catching on to this piece right here. You're catching on this piece. You don't want to do too far up because then, you're going to cut half of the ruffle off when you fold it. And then what happens is I fold it like a sandwich. Okay? I fold it. Now the pins are in. Now I go along and I take each and every pin out and I repin it again, making sure that my ruffle is evenly sandwiched between both fabrics. Okay, and take your time with this. You don't have to rush. And you want to make sure that the edge of this fabric and the edge of the ruffle is all together. Right, you got to put it all together and then pin it. And then you sew. So this is like 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch right here. Okay, and then I'm going to sew from the top all the way down, all the way here, and all the way here. But before I do that, I have to attach my straps. Okay, I want to have the straps. So when you're working with the straps, you want to have the pieces available so that they're loose, because then you're going to put the straps on. After I put the straps on, I'm going to be doing the lining. So before I sew the lining, I have to put the metal closure on. And these are my metal closures. So with my bags, I always put a closure with a piece of fabric to hold this. In the very, very beginning, before like cell phones were like really new, I always made a clasp with a pocket. I think Lazy Girl Designs does it. She has a pattern, but I made my own. You just measure your phone and give it a couple of inches, and then you fold a pocket over it. And I made my own. And then so hanging from the bag is a piece of fabric, coordinating fabric, and you could carry your phone outside the bag, or maybe you want a pocket inside the bag. Okay, and then I put my closures on. These are my magnetic clasps, And then when I get to that point, I'll show you how I do it. Okay?